Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with the men's and women's track and field teams, and with us, head coach Steve Picucci. And Coach, first of all, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
This past weekend, the Bulldogs at the GLIAC Indoor Championships down in Allendale, and always a lot of excitement with the conference championships. Just talk about this past weekend for the Bulldogs and what some of the big successes were for Ferris State.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for us. We're really excited to kind of have it close. So we had a lot of family and friends there and alumni to come watch. So it was nice for it to be in Allendale. It's a little closer for our family and friends and alumni to get down there. But some good performances. On the men's side, Ryan Shute led the way, third in the 3,000. And then we had Andrew Harper in the same race come back and get all conference honors with, I think, 7th place finish in the 3,000. So that was good there. And then we had a sophomore step up. Connor LaRue came in and placed in the 800. We haven't had a placer in the 800 in many years, probably 3 or 4 years. So that was great. Those are our all-conference or scoring position guys. So that was really nice. And then on the women's side, Anna Rudd really led the way. 2 individual conference titles. The 3,000 on Saturday, came back on Sunday and won the 5,000. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. 5,000 on Saturday, 3,000 on Sunday. So that was great. That's a really tough double. It really kind of shows her strength and toughness. But for those performances, she got honored as a GLIAC Track Runner of the Year. So that was a pretty neat accomplishment for her.
I know both her and Ryan both were able to post some personal bests in their respective events and marks that rank among the top 5 all-time performances here in school history, and certainly with some of the great athletes Ferris State's had in the past, certainly a great accomplishment for both of them. Yeah,
that's really good performances for both of them. It puts them pretty high up on our school list, and then as well on the national list. And then we had another girl hit provisional qualifier this weekend, Shavon Kloppenberg in the 800. It's her first year running that distance, so she's really adapting really well to it. But Ryan and Anna, and along with our weight thrower Jess Pilling, looks like we should have 3 people competing at the national championships.
Obviously, as we watch the highlights here of the meet, a 2-day meet down at Grand Valley State, and always tough competition in the conference. The GLIAC kind of regarded as one of the better conferences in Division II.
Yeah, it's one of the, I think it's probably one of the best conferences in the nation as far as Division II track and field. So it's tough. I mean, if you can compete well at our conference meet, you're at least, for most of the events across the board, you're going to compete well on the national level too. So that was really good to see that, it was really a tough competition, and like I said, we really got in there and put some points on the board for our team, so that was good to see.
Obviously, the Grand Valley State Fieldhouse Arena, or actually the Kelly Family Sports Center on the campus of Grand Valley State. Bulldogs have had a few meets there here already this year. Just talk about the familiarity with the surroundings and how that helped some of your athletes.
Yeah, it really helps us kind of getting the chance to go down there 2 or 3 times throughout the year, and then having conference there this year really is kind of it's kind of almost in our own backyard. So. We really kind of like that as far as, get used to it, get comfortable with your surroundings. Kids know where to warm up, know the way that everything's laid out, and just kind of get in a routine, and it really helps that. It just kind of really makes it easier for us. And as far as travel, it makes things way easier on travel. Conference championships, it's already hard enough getting back late, and only being an hour away really made a really nice opportunity for us.
I know traditionally the Bulldogs have been very strong in some of the distance events, but you've had some success in some of the throwing events as well. And you mentioned Jessica Pilling, a chance to go to the national championships in one of the throwing events.
Yeah, she's really stepped it up this year in the weight throw. She's always been a really strong hammer thrower outdoor, and then this year she's really stepped up her weight throw. So this will be her first trip to the national championships. Hopefully, like I said, we'll find out later this week, but. So that would be a great accomplishment for her to get into the championships in indoor for the first time.
I know as we watch some of the highlights, obviously track and field, you're competing against the other schools, but a big deal for a lot of these athletes to establish personal best marks as well, and competing against themselves in an effort to try to better some of their times.
Yeah, that's kind of the race inside the race is, you're beating the competition, but you're also trying to beat your own personal best. So we had a lot of personal bests on the whole championship weekend. So that's kind of what you look for as you end your indoor season. It's really kind of end on a high note, and now we'll transition into outdoor.
I know for some of the athletes, obviously, will come out later this week, a chance to move on to the national championships, and you mentioned a few of those. What are your expectations, I guess, going into the national championships, and how the Bulldogs will do with the athletes that are making the trip?
We always kind of take the attitude that it's never just enough to get there. We want to perform at a high level once we're there. So like I said, our goals are kind of the same. We want to compete to the highest level we can as we're there, put ourselves in a position to make the finals if it's a final event or a prelim event, and then in the finals we just want to put ourselves in the spot to get on the podium is always the goal. But the big thing is let's just compete at a high level, and it's not just enough to get there. Let's do something when we're there.
Obviously a week away or so in the national championships this winter in Birmingham, Alabama. Just talk about making the trip to Birmingham, and obviously hopefully a little bit better weather than we've had in Michigan this winter.
Yeah, we're hoping for a little bit less snow down there, but should be good. Like I said, it's a championship festival this year, so there's a lot of things going on for the athletes to see and do, so that's really fun. It's kind of a neat experience for them, and it should be good. It's never been down to Birmingham before, so it should be it's supposed to be a world-class facility, so we're excited to go down there, and it's always neat to go down there for the festival and give the kids a little chance to interact with some other sports. I
know for some of the athletes that won't be making the trip to nationals, you've got about a month here as you transition from indoor to outdoor. How do you handle that month with the weather and get ready to go for the outdoor season?
Yeah, right now we're just kind of waiting for the snow to melt and get on the track, but right now we'll just kind of transition into a little bit more, back to kind of basics training for a little bit, and then just pretty much waiting for that snow to clear so we can get on the track and get going. But it gives us some time to kind of recover from the indoor season, but at the same time let's still focus on getting ready for outdoor. So we'll kind of really take advantage of it, heal up where we need to, and then just kind of start working on some things.
Definitely a fine balance between being an athlete and of course going to school. I know your teams have had some great success academically, cross-country teams for one, ranking among the nation's top academic teams. Talk about what that means to have kids that are able to succeed both in the classroom and on the track.
I think it shows a lot about the character of our student athletes at Ferris State, that they know that it's not just being an athlete, it's time management, taking care of your studies, and not just taking care of them, doing well in classroom. And the big emphasis we always put on our program is you're here to get a degree. That's your very first priority. So education's first. We'll schedule as much as we can around your classes, and your practices are always going to have to come secondary to class. So our kids really take some high-level programs. We have a lot of kids in pharmacy and pre-optometry and in optometry school. So it's, like I said, it's demanding, but it just shows that they're good at balancing their time and making the most of the opportunities they have.
I know as we move into the outdoor season now, obviously you've been here for a few years now at Ferris. Talk about where your track programs are at in terms of the success you've been able to establish with some of the All-Americans in the past and moving into the national championships and then the outdoor season this year.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing we've established over the last 4 or 5 years is we're a team that's successful and we focus on our areas. The throwing events is we're still trying to build that and get that ball rolling. In the mid-distance and distance events is really kind of where we've made our name. 400 on up is really kind of our area to really focus on, and we get kids every year that kind of get in and improve. But that's really kind of been our goal every year, is to continue to develop those kids and hopefully get some more national qualifiers every year.
What does it take for the Bulldogs as you move to the national championships in order to come back with some more All-American awards here from some of the student athletes that will be headed to the nationals?
I think the big thing is just kind of stay within yourself. Don't change anything. Treat it like the races we've treated them all year. So don't do anything different, but at the same time, let's go out there and compete as hard as we can. And like I said, I think as long as we do what we're capable of and stay within ourselves, we should be successful.
And of course, a big home meet coming up in early April, and for the Bulldogs, hopefully the snow will be off the track by the time the Bulldog Invitational rolls around.
Yeah, that's the plan. I don't know if I got to get out there and start shoveling or what, but it's always early April. You never know what you're going to get, but so hopefully it'll start melting off here pretty soon, and we can get everything ready for the home meet in April. But we still got a little bit of time.
Well, congratulations again on the success the Bulldogs had at the GLIAC Championships and in the indoor season, and best of luck for those going on to nationals.
Thanks, Rob.
That's going to do it for another episode of Ferris Sports Update. A reminder, you can follow all the action online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Have a great week.